Hey, our guest this evening from BDC is Shannon Preus. He stopped by today and he's gonna let us know what BDC is, what it stands for, and how they can help you and your business. Hi, Shannon.
Hi, Kevin. How are you?
I am great. I am great. Thank you for helping us out today. I know I don't know a lot about BDC, but I'd like to know more about it. So, what first of all does it stand for?
We are the Business Development Bank of Canada, and
Oh,
we are the only bank dedicated to help supporting Canadian entrepreneurs.
okay,
So,
nice. Okay, and if someone access you directly, or do they have to go through their another channel? How do they do that?
no, we are in many ways the best kept secret in Canada to support Canadian entrepreneurs. And at one time, Kevin, before my time, but up until 1995, we were known as the Federal Business Development Bank. And up
Okay,
until that time, we were an actual, what was referred to as a lender of last resort, meaning if
okay,
you were a Canadian business, you actually had to go to your chartered bank or your credit union and
okay.
actually get declined before you could come to the Federal Business Development Bank. So through our shareholder and being a Canadian Crown Corporation, that mandate was changed in '95
Right.
to be just a complimentary Canadian bank. So being the BDC as a company, you can come to us directly.
Nice.
Uh,
So if someone's got a great idea for a business, they can just pop in and see you, or do they have to? Like, I presume there's work they have to do ahead of time when they come see you.
yeah, we see entrepreneurs in all their life cycles. I guess we get a lot of referrals from the banks because generally people will think to go, oh, I'll go to my bank that I've always had a bank account with. I'll go to CIBC. I'll go to my credit union. And so that's a great place to start. And often that bank will say, I like your business, but it's not a fit for us. Why don't you go see the BDC? So we'll often get referrals from other banks or credit unions or accounting firms or a lot of what we call influencers. But we do have a branch network across the country. We've got 120 odd business centers across the country. We're most of them right now are because of the pandemic where we are closed, but generally we're in all major cities. We have great partnerships with the folks around. Many of our partners, Community Futures, Futurepreneurs. So yes, entrepreneurs can come see us directly.
So if you go to your say regular bank, and they say that your business or whatever may not be a good fit, what for them? What does that mean exactly?
So what often happens at BDC, and I can talk a little bit more about our mandate. We're designed to help the Canadian ecosystem, and what I mean by that is we're there to fill gaps in the marketplace. So a typical the charter banks, the credit unions, they're mainly focused on security. So if you're a business owner, you're starting a business, you're going to get your business loan, they may ask, well, what do you have for security to back this loan, especially if you're unproven, you don't have a track record. By nature of our mandate, we're willing to take on that higher degree of risk. So if that entrepreneur has a great idea, maybe they've got a business plan prepared, maybe they don't initially, but they go to their banker, and the bank says, for whatever reason, it's you don't have enough collateral, we're not sure about this industry, you don't have any investment into your business, so it's a little too risky for us, but the BDC is willing to take on a little more risk. So
That's,
then we get the referral.
and that's great for you guys. Obviously, it's just too bad that I feel that sometimes the banks are not that they're bad or anything like that. It's just I think sometimes they're missing the boat on some really great ideas from people.
Oh, absolutely, and it's a great relationship that we have with our banking partners because we're willing to take on a little more risk for a project, and it doesn't have to be a startup. We work with startup businesses that have a well thought out business plan. They've done their homework. They've invested time to look at who their market is, what their value proposition is, and how they're going to ultimately move their business forward to sustainability.
Right.
We want to share that risk. So what I mean by that is we're willing to lend out X number of dollars, provided that they have some skin in the game. So some investment, maybe they've got some equipment that's paid for, maybe they've taken some equity out of their house or cashed in some investments to put into that project, and we're willing to leverage that up to get them the money they need for that capital, whether it's building out a retail spot, buying equipment, hiring staff, training staff, buying inventory, all those things that a business owner needs.
So is there a minimum and or a maximum that people can access funds?
No, we're a lender that lends smaller amounts, 20, 50, 100,000, but we've got loans up to $50 million for our corporate finance teams. And so our market is what we call the SMEs, small and medium sized enterprise market.
Okay.
So with that, their borrowing needs are sometimes small. If they're too small, we encourage them to look at their banking partners or some of the other partners that we work with. Again, I touched on Futurepreneur, which is great for entrepreneurs the age of 18 through 39, or our community network or our community futures network partners, and they do sometimes smaller loans too. So we work very closely in the ecosystem to know what everybody's doing and where the fits are. So ultimately, we want to work together to help more entrepreneurs.
And that's great. I'm glad to hear that you've got that working relationship with I'm going to say with the big banks, just for lack of a better term. I know sometimes there can be maybe a little bit of animosity. I'm not sure, but it's just nice to know that you're, I guess, getting along.
Well, and with that, and how the partnership or a good example of a relationship works with the big banks is because of BDC, we do all we have is term lending. So we lend money, and that's got to be repaid back over a certain period of time. And we've got the consulting or the advice piece as well. But we don't have things like bank accounts or foreign exchange or investments, which are a lot of the other services that that entrepreneurs need. They need a day-to-day bank. They need an operating line for, payroll and receivables and inventory. So it's nice to be able to, when we're working with an entrepreneur that doesn't have a good relationship with the big bank or their credit union, we can often make that referral. So, there is that give and take, and we've got a great relationship across the country with our banking partners.
Awesome. And you said you have a lot of offices across the country?
We've got, I believe, about 125 offices coast to coast, Victoria to Halifax,
nice.
North and South.
Right on.
In Saskatchewan, we've got our business center in Saskatoon. We've got offices in Regina, but we've also got representation in Lloydminster, Prince Albert, and through our branch network, our account managers service all those communities. So they've got rural communities assigned to them. So they're, pre-COVID, any given day, you'd find one of our account managers in wherever, small town Alberta, small town Saskatchewan.
So I'm sorry to be like that. So they kind of like they travel around looking for business too, or just meeting with their clients.
Absolutely, we love talking to entrepreneurs, and if you talk to any of our account managers in the field, they'll say the same thing. And so we've got our existing portfolio, so we love repeat business. So by treating our clients well, hopefully they'll take on other projects and borrow money again or use other solutions.
Yep.
We'll get referrals from our banking partners, but we do a lot of what we call acquisition, and that we're out in communities talking to economic developers. We're talking to chamber folks. We're talking to industry associations. Just as a way to connect with entrepreneurs, because when I say we've got 120 plus business centers across the country, it's not a huge reach. So as opposed to some of the bigger banks that have a bank on every street corner. So we need to get out to the communities where those entrepreneurs are, and often there's great entrepreneurs throughout this country.
Absolutely. So do you offer services like life insurance too, like some of the big banks do, or is that something you don't stay with?
We don't, and we love our again, I'll call that our value proposition or our mandate. It's very we attract a lot of employees from other banks that join us for our mandate to support Canadian entrepreneurs. And what I love about that is when I meet with new employees, it's almost that they have to decouple all the knowledge that they've had from their previous banks, because what we pride ourselves on is term lending and advisory services. So with that, we don't have the full range of products that sometimes entrepreneurs need, or even retail bankers that they offer. So, and then we've got a lot of information to help and support entrepreneurs as well. So, I can talk about some of those things as well. But.
Sure, no, by all means, whatever you think an entrepreneur would need, you have the floor.
Absolutely. Well, that's great. So, we do financing. So we will meet with that entrepreneur again, in various stages of what we call their journey. So whether it's a startup, as they're progressing, you've heard the term scale up. We want to help those entrepreneurs grow and give them the capital or the advice that they need. And sometimes that advice piece is just as important as the money. Because sometimes the money in the hands of someone that doesn't have the plan in place can be a dangerous thing. So we like to couple that with either the financial management, sales and marketing. Sometimes they might need some operational efficiency to work out some of the bugs, so to speak, with their business. They need some aspects of HR coaching, proper job descriptions in place for bringing on and onboarding new employees. So we've got the term lending, so lending to entrepreneurs as they're moving through the ebbs and flows of a business cycle. But then the advice piece. But we also pride ourselves on having a lot of content, and we sometimes joke internally that we've got almost too much. And again, I joke, but we've got a great research department out of Montreal, where our head office is. Yep. And I'm encouraged by the fact that we bring out very timely research for entrepreneurs, and it could be economic reports, it could be studies on certain industries, construction, transportation, retail, manufacturing. We've got a wide variety of that, but just some really good templates and tools. And in preparation for the meeting today, I just opened up our website, bdc.ca, and we've got just a huge, vast array of templates. So, for example, you touched on a plan. Does an entrepreneur need a plan? And whether it's a startup business, but even a growing business, it's important that they have a plan. They have an idea of where they're taking their business. They've done some work on who their competition is, who their market is. I worked with entrepreneurs in the field for many years, and I'd always really try focus entrepreneurs on what's your value proposition? Who are you selling to? It's great that an entrepreneur says, well, Canada is my market. I've built this widget, I've built this app, and I'm going to sell it to the world. But, if you can really articulate as an entrepreneur what your value is, the benefits, and what your market is, it could be very niche. But if you can gain tremendous market share and capitalize on that product differentiation that brings value to that and solve a problem that a consumer is having, you are certainly ahead of the game.
Absolutely, and that's hard to do sometimes. There's a lot of competition out there.
There is, and when you're able to bring benefits and solve a problem that the everyday consumer or business to business is having, then what happens is you become you not only differentiate yourself, but you take yourself from being just a transaction, and you can really add value, and you can price your product properly. Yeah, because you're solving a true problem.
Absolutely, and it's nice knowing that you can make a difference for somebody.
Absolutely, and I'm so passionate working with entrepreneurs that are passionate. One of the tools that we have while we're talking about tools and information is we've got a what's called an entrepreneurial potential assessment. So, again, entrepreneurship's not for everybody. There's there's risks. There's takes a certain individual to be an entrepreneur, and with our assessment tool, it's kind of cool. You can go on there, and with a series of questions, you can get a real good understanding if you've got the makeup or acumen to be to take on that role, I guess, in your life.
Yeah,
So,
and I guess in a way too, you can find out, of course, to assess your strengths and weaknesses, but you can maybe find out something. Maybe you thought you were strong, but maybe you're not, and vice versa. So it is a good way to find out before you go too far. It makes you think, should I not? And it's kind of a tipping point there for some people.
Yeah, and what it does is a successful business. You're maybe don't have all the facets of business or skill set yourself. You may be a great welder or fabricator,
right.
But you as an entrepreneur or potential entrepreneur, you might know what you don't know. So you might again be that great fabricator, but you know that you don't have a strong skill set in financial management. So
right.
What the assessment will do, and over the course of embarking on a career in entrepreneurship, you'll get an understanding of what skill sets you need to surround yourself with.
Right. And in that role, say of HR, the old adage is, hire for attitude, you can always teach the skills.
So I read that this week on LinkedIn, but it's so true, right? And
absolutely.
And for an entrepreneur, for a business, it's very costly to hire and onboard employees, and
yes, it is,
and train them, and only to potentially lose them because you didn't have a proper understanding of what skill set you needed, and bringing on the right person. So no, it's a great point.
I've seen something, and I'm sure you have too. I mean, a lot of people, when they're starting out, depending on their business, they want to hire their friends, and that's not always the best thing to do. It's ruined more friendships, I think, than anything.
You're absolutely right, and business is hard. And I pride myself on being a banker, and I love working with entrepreneurs. But business, I have so much respect for entrepreneurs, and we know from our research how much value small and medium-sized businesses bring to the economy. As far as jobs and GDP.
Yeah.
And these entrepreneurs, they're laying it on the line. I manage teams in Grand Prairie with a bank, and entrepreneurs, they're the ones getting the phone call at 4 a.m. when a truck breaks down, and you've got let's say a couple shareholders in a business, and not everybody's going to get along. And you're right. And if it's just a bunch of buddies getting together and think, I can do this business better than the guy across the street, there's going to be ebbs and flows in that business, and
absolutely.
It can.
Yeah, so your great fishing or golf buddy may not turn out to be a great business buddy.
Exactly, and it's you really have to go in to business with your eyes open, and protect both interests in the form of proper shareholder agreements, and make sure things are done where you are looking after all those aspects of the business.
Absolutely. I guess it's kind of like a prenup. I guess if you're getting married, you have a set of parameters that you have to make sure that everybody's going to sort of hold up their end, if I may say.
Exactly, and that's a great analogy. You have a couple of buddies that go into business. One is committed to it and is working 100 hours a week to get it to go through the growing phase, and you got the other buddy that wants to spend 100 hours a week on the golf course, and wants to get paid the same, right? So
of course.
You got to get that figured out early. So
it's great while it lasts. It's great at the start, but then there's the initial euphoria can wear off very quickly.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's where that entrepreneurial mentality has to really kick in. Mm-hmm. It can be hard, like I say, to wear many hats, but sometimes you have to when you're starting.
You do, and it's costly. If you're a small business, and when I say small, I mean 0 to 20 employees or whatever. But you can't hire a director of HR. You can't hire a full-time accountant. So you have to really understand some of the roles. Engage with partners, such as have a good relationship with your accountant. Have maybe use a lot of the free tools that are out there. Use mentors.
And you've got to educate yourself too. It's not always best just to leave it to somebody and not know what's going on. You should know what. To me, you should know what's going on to some degree, because after all, it's your business and your money. So you've got to kind of keep a little bit of an eye on it.
Well, and that a big I totally agree, and especially on the financial side of it as well. And we see that's where a lot of the cracks happen, where businesses fail is where that business owner maybe trusts everything to their accountant, or once a year brings in their shoebox of receipts and everything to their accountant just to do their year-end financial statement, and not knowing of all the cash flows, where the money's coming in, where it's going out, knowing the timing of when they're sending out an invoice to the time the money's collected. And so, to your point exactly, having good systems in place, good reporting. So as an owner, you got to educate yourself on knowing, okay, here's where my business is at any given point, and I can make adjustments. I can pivot as I need to.
How many professional athletes, as an example, have we heard that have gone bankrupt because they were just fobbing it all off on their professional people that they've hired, but unfortunately the professionals made mistakes, whether on purpose or not, and lost them their money. Yeah. So that's why I say, for me, it's very important that anybody keep track of at least a little bit of what they're doing, so they have some idea of what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. And having that, it comes back to that plan and knowing where you want to take your business. Often as an entrepreneur, you think, oh, okay, I want to grow my business to $20 million in sales. But, by going after those bigger jobs or those bigger contracts, that's not necessarily a great thing either.
No.
I've talked to business owners over the course of my career that, that would rather, instead of shooting for a $25 million per year business, they've settled on, I'm going to do 15 million, or I'm going to do 10 million, but I'm going to be profitable and take on jobs that are going to pay, that I'm going to use my equipment efficiently. And
it's sometimes hard to rein yourself back, but it is important. Shannon, our time, unfortunately, is up for tonight. If anybody wants to get a hold of you or with BDC, what do they have to do, or who can they contact?
Yeah, no, please get a hold of me. So I'm Shannon Preus. I'm the regional partnership manager for the Prairies, based in Calgary. But you can get a hold of me at Shannon, SHANNON.Preus. That's PREUS at BDC.ca.
Cool.
Or my phone number, 403-472-8279.
Awesome.
Entrepreneurs.
Wonderful. I really appreciate you taking the time out tonight to help us out with this project on entrepreneurship. And like I say, we're going to be sending all of the interviews we're doing to the 7 high schools around us at Kindersley here. So we're going to get we're trying to get a lot of students interested in entrepreneurship. So I think this is perfect what we've talked about tonight. So I really thank you for that.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity. We want to help the next generation of entrepreneurs, and please keep in touch.
All right. Thank you very much, Shannon. Have a great night.
Thank you. You too. Thanks.